I've made a similar door lock in the past using an OLED display and a keypad, but I wanted to make one using a touchscreen TFT. So I got myself a 2.4-inch touchscreen TFT display. To make the door lock as compact as possible, I decided to use a bare ESP32 room board instead of a dev board. I soldered on a 3.3 volt regulator to convert the 5 volt to safe 3.3 for the ESP32. To make sure the touchscreen works, I decided to connect it to an ESP32 CC6 and run a test code. Here you can see the touchscreen coordinates printed on the TFT display. I wired up the SD card reader, which is inbuilt on the TFT module, to the ESP32. And I'm now running a test code which pulls a stored BMP file and prints it onto the display. I made a little frame out of plastic to mount the display onto. And then I mounted a 3-watt speaker inside the hole I cut out. The audio will be played using a DF player mini module. I'll link to a documentation on how it works in the description. I then started working on the graphical user interface. Now this is probably the most confusing and just most time consuming part of the entire thing, but I decided to use a template and a painting software to make this a little easier for me. The point of the template is to make it easier to figure out where the buttons will go, the coordinates, and understanding how it's gonna look in the end. The touchscreen doesn't always capture the right touch point, but there's not a lot I can do about it. It's time to install the PIR sensor. The PIR sensor will detect when there's movement in front of the door lock and will turn on the display. This is in order to save power when the lock is in idle mode. And of course I had to add LED strips to this because, well, why not? I tried to make everything a little bit more compact, and it was time to install the lock on the door. I pushed all the power cables and servo wires through the hole I drilled, and then I screwed the lock onto place. The locking mechanism is just a servo attached to a generic latch lock thingy. Thanks for watching. I'll see you with something else next week. And as always, take care and bye-bye.
Access granted. Welcome, Adi.